Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, first question. Thoughts on reverse grip bench press for triceps on rep work? Thanks. I don't know how I feel about that one. I need to think for a moment. Do I think the reverse grip bench press is a potentially good exercise? Yes, absolutely. Do I think it has the potential to hit the triceps in a little more unique way than a lot of other chest presses do? Yes, absolutely. Is this an exercise we can move a lot of weight on? You bet. Part of our issue, though, does become the point of safety concerns. And what I mean on the safety concerns, it's mainly about getting it into position. It's not so much of dropping the bar on yourself, because most people at this point, and unless you're pretty much a blithering idiot, you're doing a full thumb over grip on a bar, right? No one who isn't a moron uses a suicide grip. Okay, no one with even an average level intelligence or higher does a suicide grip. Everyone's got wrist straps. Usually people who are going to have safeties in place, safety straps, safety arms, whatever. So it's not so much the concern of the dropping it. It's more of the racking and unracking and everything else. It can be very awkward to get into position. I think the argument could be made, though, that even though it is actually from an overload and biomechanics perspective, it's quite a good exercise, actually. It really is. I think the argument could be made towards it being maybe impractical, right? Impractical and unnecessary. And when I say that is because we have so many other different tools. If we just need some pressing variation, which is usually why we'd be doing it, right? Unless you're going to bench reverse grip and meet, and by all means, I mean, look, if you're way stronger on reverse grip, your federation allows it in powerlifting, and that's what you want to do, then knock yourself out. I have no problem with that. We should always use the method in which we are strongest within the context of the rules in any competition. Okay? Get that advantage. But if we just need variation, look, we have different bench grip widths. We get variation just by changing our grip width. We have specialty bars. Use dumbbells. We could use dips. Do incline work. We have a lot of different tools available to us to where we can just do a lot of different things that don't require us to go through the extra setup issues and everything else with the reverse grip, because it's very awkward to get set up correctly. It's very awkward to get into that racking and unracking position. Okay, particularly for people with any history of shoulder issues, and that's something that doesn't get brought up with that too. What I would say straight up, for me, having rehabbed a shoulder issue, I don't know, the thought of trying to rack and unrack a heavy reverse grip, and heavy being relative, I mean, even if we're just repping out 225 or 275 or whatever, I don't know, that extra strain on the shoulder in the unrack. Now, if you're way up under the uprights, maybe you've got a monolift set up, okay, maybe not as big of a deal. Maybe not as big of a deal. Of course, I'm still waiting on my monolift. So the question itself, I mean, I don't think it's an unreasonable question, but what I would have to say is, weighing out the cost of benefit. Weighing out the cost of benefit. I think it's an exercise that can bring a lot to the table. I think it's a good exercise from a muscle activation perspective. I think it's a really good exercise. I don't know if it's worth the hassle and the extra risk and the issue with potentially shoulders and everything else, just to get it all set up into position when we have all these other tools already available, right? So, I mean, I could go either way with it, honestly. I don't want people to think that I'm bashing the exercise or saying it's really dangerous and not to do it, because I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in the context of variation, we have other tools available. It's really not necessary. All right, next question. Hey, Jason, I'm 5 months into consistent training, and I've hit the 2, 3, 4 plate squat, bench, deadlift, but I'm unsure of what to do in terms of nutrition now. I'm 6'1", and over the months I've bulked up to 200 pounds, and I've maintained that for around 2 months, and I'm around 20% body fat according to the U.S. Navy measurement, with a 37-inch waist. I want to keep gaining strength and size, but I don't want to become obese while doing so, so I'm not sure what to do going forward. Perhaps a mini cut to 185, then bulk again, or maybe staying at this weight and try recomping. Any advice could be appreciated. There's almost no scenario where I'm going to tell a 6'1" lifter to cut down to 185. You have lost your mind. And just call that what it is. Okay? Do you want to get bigger and stronger? Yes, you're 6'1". You're 6'1". Now, I understand you not wanting to get any fatter. That's perfectly reasonable. A 6'1", 185 guy is skinny. You're not jacked, you're skinny at that point. Yes, and if you cut 15 pounds from where you are now, your lifts are going to go down. Unless you juice up for that. Lifts are going to go down. Might I recommend you just recomp for a while? Okay. And at 20% body fat, you're in a good position to recomp. And I generally, unless I have a lifter who is actually obese, I don't usually like to have lifters cut as a general rule if we can be avoided. Okay. If it can be avoided, I would rather not have lifters cut, and especially a 15-pound cut. 15 pounds is a lot. 15 pounds is a lot. Now, and I want people to understand, we are talking from an athlete perspective and a strength perspective, not bodybuilders or any of that. That's its own fetish world. I don't deal with that. No interest in it. This is the wrong channel if you care about that. But in terms of what you're trying to do, if you're really around 20% body fat, and that's very much possible with a 37-inch waist. I mean, my waist is smaller than that. People call me fat. So from that perspective, yeah, you could recomp at this point. So why don't you just stay 200 for the next 6 months, work on progression, get your diet cleaned up a little bit, right? Improve the quality of your nutrition so that you don't need quite as many calories to get recovery and health and everything else that you need. And maybe just stay at 200 for the next 6 months and go ahead and push your lifts up and recomposition a little bit. And that's the thing. Look, if you gain another 5 pounds of muscle over that time and you stay about 200, you lose 5 pounds of body fat. Okay, you'll end up being about 17% body fat if you're 20% now. Perfectly viable. That's what I would recommend. But no, you don't need to do a cut, but you could certainly quit bulking at this point for a while. Okay, you just focus on recomposition and then ease back into a lean bulk later. Because you're 6'1", 200 is not your cap. It's by no means your cap. Okay, and even while being at an athletic, healthy body fat, there's no reason you can't eventually get up to 220. So maybe recomposition for a while, and then ease into a nice lean bulk to where you only gain something like about a pound a month. Perfectly reasonable. All right, next question. What do you think about compression wear garments? Well, I would ask, what do you plan to get out of this? I mean, realistically, look at me training in the background. I'm doing over 500-pound squats wearing a belt and a pair of running shorts. Okay? So in that context of looking how I train, let me ask you a very simple question. What do you think I think about this? I don't even wear shoes when I train. I'm not outside. I'm not at risk of hurting my feet. Why would I wear shoes? I'm not in a competition at the moment that requires shoes by the rules. Okay. So we covered a compression wear. What a load of silly crap. For what? Why? For what purpose? You'll say, well, I needed to stay warm. Really? You need to stay warm? Maybe you need to eat more carbs. I mean, I'm not saying that to be facetious, but why is your body temperature dropping so low when you're training? Is your carb intake too low? Is your protein intake too low? Like, are you doing a 80% fat keto diet or something? You have a really slow metabolism? Well, maybe you need to eat more food. If you're having problems with your body temperature dropping, and people, they wear certain things that compress, say, well, it reduces pain. Well, that's a really serious issue. And that's where I'm going to be quite frank with you. If wearing some sort of compression device or garment reduces joint or tendon pain for you, and I understand wrist straps. Wrist straps absolutely have their place for a lot of things, but that's a different thing. That's not just compression. That's creating an actual support structure for a joint that you want to keep immobile. Okay, that allows you to grip a weight tighter, get higher neuromuscular efficiency and a radiant effect. Okay. You're talking about a joint that you move, your knees or your elbows. You, my friend, are in a world of trouble. There's something very wrong with your training loads, your recovery, your tendon health that you better figure out and sort. Because I can tell you if that compressant garment is doing that, it's because it's cutting blood flow to that area. So it's numbing it. Whatever damage you're causing is still happening, you just don't feel it. Okay? That's a real stupid idea. You're not going to be lifting heavy when you're my age if you're doing stuff like that. You're going to be a has-been. You need to figure out what you're doing wrong and fix it instead of a Band-Aid. So my take on compression wear in general, no, I don't have any use for it. I don't have any use for it at all. Says me, my opinion. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 2.